So this is week number 13 or 14 of year 2017, and I offer my obeisances time and again unto my spiritual master Shri Gaurachandra, Srimati Radhika, her associates and her divine abode Shri Vrindavan, and unto Shri Krishna, his devotees and the devotees of his devotees. May they bless us with divine understanding. So, I want to speak a little bit on divination. Some people have the assumption that they can just take a set of cards or runes, or whatever is their preferred divination tool, and then they can cast the oracle and receive the answer. But I'd like to give you a point to consider. That is, if I, or any one of us, is in a relative state of ignorance, that is why we are wanting to consult an oracle, or maybe some person who knows more about a certain subject, maybe an astrologer or a guru or a scripture, then we are in that state for a certain reason. And if we have understood that creation is always the product of a creator, and that we have not created ourselves, and that we are not in full consciousness, and even less so in control of what is happening, then when we have realized that we are dealing with a reality that is in truth divinely functioning under divine control of a divine creator, then if we're dealing with a person here, reality as a person, then we have to deal with reality in a personal way. So if I want to know something from a person, then I have to ask the person if I may ask that question. Otherwise, I may not get an answer, or the answer may not be the true answer. And there are other traps with divination, but that is the main point. So, the point here being that I have to ask, my dear such and such, may I ask you the question? And I want to suggest you consider well who you are addressing with your question. Is that really the supreme source personality you are addressing, or some lesser personality? And if so, is that personality really the knower of the questions that you're asking? And if so, is that person also of impeccable character and benevolence? So yeah, I had a little discussion about the subject matter this week, and the person said, there is no need to ask. What a weird thing to think. Yeah. So these people, they don't even consider that reality is a person, and they are not even if like you're giving a hint, they're not even willing to see that. And that's their good right, So yeah. And there's another point which I find quite funny. That is, of course, they give each other assurance that it's completely okay to ask. Of course, you can do that, but you should be aware what is the result. You can freely sin, you can do whatever you want, but there will be reactions for every action. According to the mood, then that Supreme Person may reciprocate with your mood. You cannot expect that if you treat a person impersonally, that a person will treat you very personal or very lovingly. Yeah. So these are all points to consider. So some person also said this week I was conversing with, was saying, I follow no religion. I am the universe experiencing itself. I am the all as a fractal. Very interesting point. So then I suggested it could be a consciousness, a state of consciousness called materialism or monism, depending on nuances of realization. Levels of consciousness, worldviews or paradigms, if you will. And then that person said, oh, that's far from materialism. It's more pantheism. Everything is God. And I already answered your question. And I don't want to say everything that these people sometimes say, because they lack the basic principles of respectful communication. So if everything is God, yeah, and they are missing some very important points. That, you know, if you say that the material that is behind me, my dress, everything is God, then that sweatshirt that I'm wearing should be able to reciprocate with me, talk with me, create a world, destroy it in any second, and you know, all the divine qualities, omnipotence, and there are actually 6 main qualities, the 6 opulences of the Supreme. So they would be in anything and everyone, but we can clearly observe that that is not the fact. Of course, everything is from the Supreme, from God, everything is for God, everything is the energy of God, but it's simultaneously one and different. So if a person doesn't mention that they are seeing this as God, then I say it's materialism. And but if they are like having some idea of a higher consciousness, and it can be called pantheism or holism, if it is moving towards understanding of God. So I have a whole video series on that as well, Light Casts No Shadows, discussing the different states of consciousness, worldviews, paradigms in detail based on Amin Rizi's article that I can highly recommend everyone to study in detail, so you know where is the pitfalls, and if someone is presenting some idea to you, where they are coming from and where it leads, what is the result, you know, because all these states of consciousness, these philosophies that are propounded, they all lead to certain attitudes, and these attitudes lead to certain results, and they may not be what you're looking for truly. So yeah, so many so-called religious ideas, you know, like religio in the sense of reconnecting with the source. So many ideas are there, but so much of them are really actually just imagination, and they lead nowhere. You want to go nowhere? I rather go to the supreme destination. So thank you very much for tuning in, and see you in the next video. May the Om-Love be with you, and let me remind you to click the like, and most of all, share, share, share for the benefit of all. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.